So the US and Israel just bombed Iran's leadership into oblivion. Khamenei's dead, top generals are gone, and the regime is crumbling down to the ground. Yet the same people who cheered Obama's drone strikes and cyber sabotage are suddenly screaming illegal war. Illegal war. It's crazy the amount of hypocrisy that's going on. But stick around as I'm going to break down the strikes, the lies, and also, unfortunately, why gas prices are about to skyrocket. I'm going to show some videos of what's going on right now. As you can see, some of the initial damage to buildings and bombings. Looking pretty brutal over there. But they wanted to keep raining terror upon the Iranian people and the world at large, so this is what you get for doing that. Just look at that, dude. It's crazy. This is what they wanted to do to us. Don't forget. They kept saying death to America, and they were trying to build long-range missiles that could strike us.
Create economic chaos, a losing military battle where they're being overwhelmed, as Secretary Higgs of the General Kane and the President have all said tonight will be our biggest bombing campaign and will do the most damage to the Iranian missile launchers, the factories that build the missiles, and we are substantially degrading them. Our campaign has been overwhelming. So having not been able to succeed there, they're trying to create economic chaos, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. There are a lot of headline writers, a lot of other networks want to speak to the contrary, but we've considered all this. This is in the president's calculus, and things are proceeding as planned.
President is changing.
So, of course, we have a little hypocrisy, but as noted here, when Obama was president, he bombed Libya, droned weddings in Yemen, ran Syria ops, and hit ISIS hard, all without full congressional approval. You hear people say all the time, "Oh, Congress didn't approve this and that." Yeah, well, you don't need that whenever it's wartime. And then Trump takes out Soleimani or hits an ISIS target, and suddenly it's reckless, warmonger. It's an impeachable offense. Same actions, different jerseys. They don't hate the wars, they hate who's in charge of them, and that is the absolute truth. Maximum hypocrisy, and don't forget it. And then this picture here just shows it perfectly. And just remember, this war is unfortunate, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I wish we could live in super happy fun land and everything could be peaceful 24/7. But when you have terrorist regimes killing the people of its own country and saying death to America and trying to build missiles and nukes to use on us, you can't let that happen. And if we wouldn't do anything, that is exactly what would happen. They would just target us and want to rain terror down upon us. So, yeah, never said anything when Obama dropped 26,000 bombs on 7 countries. The hypocrisy and double standards from the Democrats are horrible. Obama gave $1.6 billion in cash to Iran. Biden took away all of Trump's sanctions on Iran and freed $16 billion. So it's just crazy. But it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Because just remember, when you cut the head off the metaphorical snake, the body will flounder, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. They are putting up a fight as is expected, and they are not going to back down, and we're going to have some other impacts as well, like oil and gas prices, which I'll get into here in a second. But yeah, Democrats decried Trump's Iran strike, but ignored Obama's 542 drone strikes that killed civilians without oversight. Selective outrage at its finest. Biden's chaotic Afghanistan exit empowered terrorists, yet they slammed decisive action against Khamenei, the leader of the terrorist Iranian network. It's crazy. And then here is the post. So like I just said, Ayatollah Al Khamenei, he was the leader of Iran's terrorist regime. He was confirmed dead. Look at that. That's crazy. It's like an AC-130 from Call of Duty. That's what this reminds me of. But yeah, this it is probably going to get worse. Hopefully this doesn't last too long, but and yeah, this was the guy who took over after Al Khamenei. He was acting supreme leader, Ayatollah Arafat, killed by new missile strikes within hours of taking the position, and they have just been getting hit hard and harder. So the first initial hit, I believe, that took out Al Khamenei, it killed a bunch of other people as well, like Mohammed Pakpur, the IRGC commander, and then Amir Nasirzadeh, I guess is how you say that, Iran's defense minister, and then Ali Shamkhani, senior advisor to Al Khamenei. So they all were, I think, together, grouped up at a meeting or something, and then that's when we hit them. But like it says here, there's going to be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. Remember, they wanted to create nukes for a reason. The reason is so they can use them on us. We can't allow that to happen. It's just too much bullshit to deal with, quite frankly. Like, you can't, it would be like going up against your enemy in like a street fight and saying, here's a knife. You can use a knife against me while I stay unarmed. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, doesn't make any sense. So, of course, yeah, we can't allow that to happen. But no deal with Iran unless they agree to an unconditional surrender, which I'm no expert, but I'm thinking the terrorist regime is probably not going to do that, especially when they chant death to America nonstop. So just a guess. But we have a little bit of other things that are going to impact. So here's kind of the final wrap up so far. This was updated March 2nd. This was day 3 of the war. So now we're at 6 days in. But at this point in time, from February 28th to March 2nd, Iran had 555 plus total confirmed deaths. Of those, there was about 200 plus civilians, which is 36% of the total. That's unfortunate. Military IRGC, 64%, which is good. And this includes Khamenei plus 48 leaders day 1. Quds Force, and then day 1 there was 200 plus, day 2 550 plus, so it's only getting worse for them. And then the United States, we had 3 plus troops that died, very unfortunate. It was a drone retaliation. So yeah, the Iran is definitely using the drones and honing in on that, and they have some tactics they used. They're basically going to be a war of attrition, I think. I think they're going to... I saw a post earlier that said something about what they are using to attack us is very cheap. I think the drones. And what we are using to take out the drones is very expensive. So it costs us a lot of money to combat their cheap military assets. But as you can see, I mean, they have 20 times as many deaths as actually, sorry, 200 times. Pretty big difference. But hopefully that stays the same and we get all our soldiers back alive. Then Israel lost about like 10 people total. So yeah, it's kind of going underway, but it just has to happen, dude. Like, you can't allow these people to get a nuke which they've been trying and trying and trying to get. You just can't allow that. You can't. They are called terrorists for a reason, because they rain terror upon the world. And you've seen the posts about even their own people. They just kill them in the streets. Like the Khamenei, before he died, he would just kill off Iranian people in his own country for no reason, just because they maybe disagreed with him or whatever. It's just ridiculous. And then the acid attacks on women and things like it. Just can't, you can't allow that to continue. Can't allow it. So here's the other part we're going to get into, which is the oil prices. So this is going to be kind of unfortunate for basically everybody in the world, but yeah, it will affect us in the US. But before that, I just want to give a quick CTA. If you guys, like these kinds of videos, kind of going over what is happening, my takes on it, it would really help me out if you could subscribe and, leave a comment, like the video, and let me know. Do you think this war was justified? Do you think the US's intervention in the war was justified? Let me know down in the comments below. So yeah, here we have the oil. So the death of Ayatollah Al Khamenei triggered, immediately geopolitical shockwaves with severe economic fallout, especially in the oil market. Why is that? Because Iran has the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 20% of all of the world's oil flows. This has already halted tanker traffic, and they are going to use this, like I mentioned earlier, the war of attrition. They are going to use this to try to make us feel it through our wallets. So that is going to kind of suck for a little bit, but that's just the way warfare goes. Basically you do whatever you got to do to win. That's the name of the game, and that's exactly what they're doing here. But yeah, some analysts forecast crude oil spiking $10 to $20 per barrel when markets reopen. They were recently $73, so this will push them upwards of $80 to $100 if the escalation persists or infrastructure is hit. Iran has 3% of global supply, so that adds some pressure as well. But yeah, this surge risks higher energy costs worldwide, inflating transportation, manufacturing, and consumer prices, potentially shaving global GDP growth and stoking inflation. So what we will see here in the US is roughly 10 to 20 cents per gallon short term, which kind of sucks, but the conflict could put vulnerable, economies towards a recession. So hopefully, I don't know, hopefully that doesn't, maybe a recession wouldn't be too bad. Everything is just so freaking expensive, but we'll see what happens, I guess. It's just too hard to say right now. But yeah, I just hope it doesn't go on too much longer. Hope we get all of our troops back safely, and I hope we destroy the terrorist network that is holding the Iranian people captive. I've seen multiple pictures of them burning whenever Khamenei was alive, like women burning his picture and things like that, and not wearing the full headdress like they want for like Sharia law and stuff like that. So, and I think the people are just sick of it, quite frankly. So I don't know why anyone over in the US would support it or be like, oh, you always see it. It's ridiculous, but people always want to go against it. Like, oh no. And then the people that are actually experiencing it are like, yeah, like get us out of here, like free us. It's the funniest thing to me whenever that happens. More hypocrisy, of course, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Was the war justified? And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.